By day, he fought to inspire minds. By night, he chauffeured the man who was making that fight impossible. This is the story of Phil, a history teacher at one of Amsterdam's most underfunded high schools, and the unlikely passenger who turned his world upside down. Phil loved teaching. He saw history not as a collection of dusty dates, but as a living story of struggle and triumph. He poured his soul into his classroom, buying supplies with his own money, staying late to tutor students who had nowhere else to go. But passion doesn't pay the bills. The city's latest budget cuts, championed by a powerful corporate coalition, had hit the education sector hard. His school was crumbling, resources were non-existent, and his own salary was stretched to its breaking point. Rent in Amsterdam was relentless, and the stack of unpaid bills on his small kitchen table grew taller each week. So, with a heavy heart, Phil signed up to be a private driver. The sleek, black sedan felt like a world away from his cluttered classroom, a secret identity he wore under the cloak of night. His first few weeks were a blur of nameless faces and silent rides through the glittering canals of the city. Then he got a recurring booking, a daily pickup from the gleaming Zuida's business district, a trip to a lavish penthouse overlooking the Amstel River. The client's name was simply Sam. Sam was the opposite of Phil in every way. Dressed in impeccably tailored suits, he was always on his phone, barking orders, his voice dripping with the casual authority of someone who reshaped the world with a single email. At first, their drives were silent, the only sound the hum of the engine and the clipped tones of Sam's business calls. Phil found him abrasive, a symbol of the corporate greed he felt was strangling the city's soul. Sam, for his part, barely seemed to notice Phil was there, another cog in the machine of his perfectly scheduled life. But the routine of daily rides began to wear down the silence. It started small, a comment from Sam about the traffic, a polite reply from Phil about the weather. Slowly, these fragments grew into conversations. One evening, Sam was unusually talkative, celebrating a major corporate merger. "It's all about efficiency, Phil," he declared, his voice booming in the confined space of the car. "Trimming the fat, getting rid of dead weight. That's how you build a successful enterprise. Sentimentality is the enemy of progress." Phil gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles turning white. "And what about the people who get trimmed?" he asked, his voice quiet but firm. "What about the services that communities rely on?" Sam scoffed. "If they can't sustain themselves, they weren't viable in the first place. The market decides. It's harsh, but it's fair." Their debates became a nightly ritual, a clash of two opposing worlds played out on the leather seats of the luxury car. Phil spoke of community, of social responsibility, of the intrinsic value of educating the next generation. Sam countered with talk of fiscal responsibility, shareholder value, and the unforgiving logic of the bottom line. "You're a romantic, Phil," Sam would say with a cynical smile. "You see the world as it should be. I see it as it is." Phil never told Sam he was a teacher. He let Sam think he was just a driver, an anonymous listener. He felt a strange, detached curiosity, like an anthropologist studying a creature from another planet. The revelation came on a rainy Tuesday night. Phil had just dropped Sam off and was waiting, as usual. His phone buzzed with a news alert. He tapped the link, his eyes scanning an article about the city's education crisis. It detailed the corporate lobbying group that had successfully pushed for the devastating budget cuts. And there, smiling confidently from the screen, was the group's chairman, the architect of his school's misery. The caption read, "Samuel Vandermeer, CEO of VDM Global." Sam, his passenger. A cold wave washed over Phil. It wasn't just a clash of ideologies anymore. This was personal. The man whose cynical worldview he debated every night was the very same man responsible for his students shivering in unheated classrooms. For the textbooks he couldn't afford, for the second job that was draining the life out of him. The faceless corporate villain had a name, and he sat in Phil's back seat every single night. The next evening, every word from Sam felt like a personal attack. His boasts about strategic restructuring were no longer abstract theories. They were the reason his brightest student, Maria, couldn't afford the supplies for her art project. His lectures on fiscal discipline were the reason the school's library was closed 3 days a week. Phil drove in a fog of silent rage. The city lights blurred through the rain-streaked windshield. He listened as Sam complained about a minor dip in his company's stock portfolio, completely oblivious to the real-world devastation his decisions had caused. Phil's hands trembled on the steering wheel. He had debated this man, argued with him, even started to find a strange, adversarial rhythm to their conversations. But he had never truly seen him until now. He saw the embodiment of a system that valued profit over people, efficiency over empathy. That night, as he pulled up to the curb outside Sam's opulent apartment building, Phil didn't immediately unlock the doors. The engine idled softly, the only sound in the tense silence. Sam, busy on his phone, finally looked up, a flicker of annoyance on his face. "Something wrong with the door, Phil?" he asked, his tone impatient. Phil turned in his seat, his eyes meeting Sam's in the rearview mirror. The respectful, invisible driver was gone. In his place was a teacher pushed to his limit. "I teach history at Northwood High, Sam," Phil said, his voice low and steady, cutting through the silence like a razor. "You know, the school you and your friends at VDM Global decided wasn't fiscally viable enough. The fat you decided to trim." Sam's confident smirk vanished. His phone lowered slowly as he stared at the face in the mirror, truly seeing his driver for the first time. The man he had debated, dismissed, and lectured was not just a driver. He was the consequence. Phil continued, his voice shaking with a mixture of anger and exhaustion. "I wanted you to know the name of one of the people whose life you've made impossible. I wanted you to see the face of the dead weight you're so proud of cutting." The car was silent. The rain tapped against the roof, each drop counting down the seconds in a standoff that felt like an eternity. Sam's face was unreadable, a mask of shock, maybe a hint of anger, or perhaps, just perhaps, the first flicker of doubt. The power was now, for the first time, in Phil's hands. Would Sam fire him on the spot, erasing this uncomfortable truth from his life? Or had this late-night confrontation in a rain-soaked Amsterdam street finally planted a seed of humanity in the hardened heart of the executive? The door remained locked. What do you think happens next? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.